Well, I confess I had never thought of that before. Does God have a job description? A job description for God? What in the world could that be, or could it mean? So I thought about that. Then all of a sudden another question came to me. If a Jesus would apply for a job at my shop, would I hire him? And if I did, what would I ask him to do? What would be his role to play in the network, the business, the service that I have? Does God have a job description? And what would you ask Jesus to do if he worked for you? Well, we're going to take a few minutes on Tuesday Plus 10 and a few more on the Christian Entrepreneur Network, the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience. It begins right now. Well, it is a busy Tuesday, and particularly for those of us in the United States, we had the long weekend, the start of summer, the Memorial Day weekend, and now that means two things. First of all, oftentimes it's the start of the summer season, as we mentioned before, but it also means that we now, in the start of summer, we have to think about in the next 90 days during the summertime, where there's a little bit change in schedules as the weather allows us perhaps a little more time for recreation and perhaps trying to get that vacation or holiday travel in. What are we going to do to achieve something this summer so that come September, or in America, the end of the summer is usually thought of as the first Monday in September, where Labor Day is celebrated. And as someone said, well, now we have to get back to our labors, get back to work. What about that 90 days in between the 1st of June and the 1st of September? What will be our 90-day plan? And that's something that perhaps we can help you with. In fact, as a business performance coach, what I discovered is one of the real turnaround events, that exercises that I brought to people, was just simply sit them down and say, okay, I want you to tell me how your business and your life will be different in 90 days. What will be better and what will be different and what will change for the better in 90 days. And I learned a couple things about that. First of all, I learned that most people cannot think strategically. They really can't. I would hesitate to say that probably more than 10 or 15 or 20% of the population, strategic planning is kind of a waste of time, at least until they have learned to think strategically. And it's something that you as a business leader, entrepreneur, are going to find very frustrating, is that you may be working a strategic view of life, and many of the colleagues, certainly the customers, don't care, but the people that you're trying to help them do the work, they're just not used to thinking any more than perhaps dealing with the day or the next coming weekend, maybe a month, but that's about it. So I just let that sit on your head for a while as one of your challenges. By the way, I can help you with that. There are some ways to think strategically and to help your people begin to be a little more strategic in their thinking, and we can help you do that. Once again, Stan at stanhouston.com or radioedge77 at gmail.com, radioedge77 at gmail.com. We'd like to help you with that. Just a few thoughts. I was reading the other day from one of my mentor theologians, and he quoted a woman who did not live a long time, but she was a woman theologian, and her name was Catherine Lacugna. Catherine Lacugna. I'm sure most of you have never heard of her. Ended her giant theological book, which was entitled God for us. God for us. With this one simple sentence, the very nature of God, therefore, is to seek out the deepest possible communion, relationship, and friendship with every last creature on this earth. That's God's job description. That's what it's all about. And the only thing that can keep you out of this divine performance, occurrence, is fear or self-hatred. What would happen in your life right now if you fully accepted what God has created? If you'd say, okay, God, you created it, and you created it for me, give it to me. That might be quite a interesting summer to say that. What's going to happen to me if I fully do? And I just love that. The very nature of God, therefore, is to seek out the deepest possible communion, relationship, and friendship with every last creature on this earth. And that includes me. That's what He wants to do. Deepest possible communion, relationship, and friendship with me. Now, how will that change my life, and how might that change the way I do business? I just let that sit on your head for a while and think about that. As a Christian entrepreneur, you've got to do two things. You've got to take faith and the Spirit of God's work seriously, and you've got to take your own work seriously. Don't take you too seriously, but do take God seriously, and do take the calling you have seriously. That's important. And then it came to me. I said, Jesus is an entrepreneur, and he's a bit of a freelancer. In fact, that's the kind of work he probably did, is that he opened this shop, which is probably more of a handyman repair, a fix-it shop than probably a fine wooden furniture shop, more of a residential place repair, maybe a business place repair. And so he went around and he was a rainmaker. I mean, literally, he had to get the business and then probably brought his brothers along. And just as what is true of the place where I live, many people, young and not so young, they have their truck and they have their equipment, and they go around to the many homes and they seek, how can we help you? Can we fix the roof? Can we do the driveway? How can we fix or repair or build something for you? That's probably what Jesus was. Talented man, obviously a gifted man. And what if he actually applied for a job at your shop? Would you hire him? That's a good question. And if you did, what would you ask him to do for you? Now, some of you are saying as well, I would like him to perform a miracle. Don't laugh. What would be something that might qualify as a miracle that you would like? What would be the miracle? Let's just say, okay, I'll give you a miracle. What is it? What is the miracle you would like? But then, based on what you know about him and what he does and who he is, what kind of job would you give him to do? What kind of performance role? Which is my description of a job description. I don't even use the word anymore. Someone said, Stan, could you help me write some job descriptions? I would say, no, it's a performance role to play. A guide to the performance role you have to play, give, and serve. A little more complicated, but far more specific and far more powerful. Again, I can help you do that with your business. So I just wanted to encourage you to think about those things and to understand that part of your work will be is to find out what role God is to play in your life and in your business, and what role would Jesus play, particularly in your business today. This is Tuesday evening, going on to Wednesday. We take 10 minutes plus a few just to perhaps give you something to think about. I would like to let you know that we are starting a whole series of adventures, both audio and video. We're going to teach you how to be professional broadcasters, not just podcasters. We're also going to teach you how to do the 7 things that every young person should seek out and know and do as they start to look for that first job, that first real job, that first career. 7 things that you need to think about and do as you seek your role, your performance role, and how you might help a young person, mentor or coach them as they find their performance role in the internet, connected, entrepreneurial experience economy, which began yesterday and before, and you're living in it right now. Thank you for your time. I'm Stan Houston. This is the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience. Thank you. And thank you. Once again, I can help you. This is for you. StanHouston@gmail.com. StanHouston@gmail.com. If you'd like to be on the radio show, RadioEdge77@gmail.com. RadioEdge77@gmail.com. The Christian Entrepreneur Network, TCEN Global, is where we hang out. And I hope this has been helpful to you. We are a 501c3 nonprofit educational support organization designed to help you, that's right, you, the aspiring Christian entrepreneur, to seek God's special wisdom, have His insight, His strength, perhaps even some of His power, as well as His purpose, so that you can build a life and business that makes you fully alive, and a life and business that matters and truly makes your mark, your difference in the world. Essentially, that's how the world will change if you play that role and play it well. Again, all the best and blessings until next time. I'm Stan Houston for the Christian Entrepreneur Network. The Jesus Entrepreneur Experience is the name of the program. We'll see you around. Best and blessings, and bye for now.